Govinda Deshikam Upasya Siraya Bhaktyam Tasmin Side Nijamahimni Videha Muktyam Advaitya Vashyam Upakalpa Diso Vijityam Kanchi Pure Sitam Avapasa Shankaraya Ritismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadvata Shankaram Lokashankaram Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanatam Shantarupinam Shri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudamyaham Sadashiva Samarambam Shankarachari Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. With benediction to Adi Shankaracharya and to his lineage up to the 69th Guru of the venerated Kamakoti Peetam Pujya Shri Jayendra Saraswati Swamigal and the 70th Guru Pujya Shri Shankar Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal, in whose benign presence this function is being held today, I raise to address you today. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this pleasant and solemn function organized this evening to commemorate the inauguration of Sri Kanchi Mahaswami Vidya Mandir and in a larger sense signal the commencement of fulfilling one of the most ardent desires of the sage of Kanchi to revamp the Indian education system and to restore its pristine glory and purity. A new dawn unfolds today as this initiative, the Kanchi Mutt, embarks on a long and hazardous journey, an academic journey that combines tradition with modernity. There is a mistaken perception that the reading of the Shastras, the Puranas, the Itihasas, or even the Vedic learning and even Sangeetam are too religious, and with a view to maintain the secular fabric of the society which has been built over us, they have to be kept away from the mainstream education. This myth is being put to dust today with the inauguration of Sri Kanchi Mahaswami Vidya Mandir. True education is that which draws the spiritual, the mental and the physical traits of a human being, said the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. If it were to draw the spiritual elements of a person, how can that education be away from spiritualism, he said. Sri Aurobindo echoed almost the same thought when he said, integral education must emphasize on the psychic, the physical and the intellectual attributes of a person they taught. The sage of Kanchi always used to say that true education is that which enables us to realize that God is truth. It should instill in all of us all those qualities that will make us further realize that truth itself is God. In the ancient education system of this blessed land of ours, all these attributes were present, so that what resulted was the efflorescence of the latent faculties of the taught. And it therefore became a means to evolve the person to his full bloom, to realize the full potential of the human birth. Sadly, these 2 centuries in odd of foreign yoke to which we have been subjected to and which subjugation has weaned us far, far away from our culture, and today education has become merely a tool for empowering a person to earn his living and therefore his sustenance. Education has moved far, far away from the reality of the purpose for which education was designed and structured for human beings. The greatest lesson of history, said Adolf Huxley, is that we do not learn from history. Be it the 5,000 years of recorded evidence of the glorious past of this nation of ours. This nation's history spans several millennia, even ahead of time. At least the recorded memory of 5,000 years which are before us, or even all those limitations and failures that came from the foreign yoke of around 250 years of the East India Company rule, we haven't drawn or learned any of our lessons. It is this sadness that makes us believe that there is need for a change to be brought overnight. To most of us who have a reasonable understanding of British history, it was Lord Macaulay who had formulated the present education system called the so-called English education system. On the 2nd of February 1835, addressing the House of Commons, the Lord said, I had been to India. I had covered the length and breadth of this country. I haven't seen a single thief. I haven't seen a single person of low virtue. People of great character and nobility. Never ever can we dream of conquering this nation unless we break the backbone of this nation, which is its spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore I propose that the ancient Indian education system be replaced by the conventional English system. And if Indians were to believe that all that is English and foreign is far superior to their own, then they will not only lose their self-esteem, they will lose their native culture, and they will be what we want them to be, the most dominated nation ever on the earth. This is what the Lord said 175 years ago. The purpose and the design of introducing education into the British Empire and the vassals that were created by conquering nations was very clear. It was just not to conquer the nations and to rule over them. It was to bring a class of people, such subservient people who will never understand the value of their own culture and who will ever crave, as he said, for all that is Western and English. This is the reality. In the name of advancement of science and technology, all that is ancient and old is given a go-by. All that is imported and all that is so-called modern is embraced. Kalidasa beautifully describes the situation in Raghuvamsa when he says, I will not get into the Sanskrit for the time being, he says, merely because it is all ours and old, let us not accept it. Conversely, because it does not belong to us and it is new of somebody else's, let us not reject it. Let's accept everything that comes our way, but embrace only those things that are relevant to the growth of human potential. The irony today is exactly the reverse. We reject all that is Indian, all that is ancient and old, accept all that is imported and all that is called modern and all that is addressed and labeled as new. This is the malady of the Indian education system. With the inauguration of Sri Kanchi Mahaswami Vidya Mandir, a very humble, a very symbolic step is being taken to address these issues concerning Indian education. The sage of Kanchi, during his living times, emphasized greatly on the values of Indian culture and heritage. He always used to lament and say, I wonder whether at all the generation that is going to succeed us will ever imbibe the religious and the spiritual greatness of this hoary traditional land of ours. Because of the social culture that is prevailing today and the ways and the habits that are coming to us. And the sage always used to say, if you can give it to them very early in life, let's put it into the children's mind when they are young, when they are not in a position to discriminate. Then this seed that is sown at that very young age will sprout sooner or later at some point of time in his life journey, and that will help him realize the potential of himself and the purpose of life. The sage always used to say that the content of education has undergone a great change between the ones that were given in the past and the ones that have been given during his living times or even today. But the manner and the form in which it has been administered and given has undergone a great difference, and that's where the real problem is. And he used to draw an analogy when he used to say, the medicine that is being administered is the same, but if the restrictions under which it has to be given and the contraindications that will be observed or not observed, the very same medicine becomes a poison. And that's what the Indian education system has become today. The Kanchi Mahaswami Vidya Mandir is a very humble effort to address all these that the sage said during his living times. That's not a panacea for all the ills that he addressed, at least a modest, simple step, one step ahead than what we were the day before. In the Kanchi Mahaswami Vidya Mandir, which has been inaugurated this morning at the blessed hands of His Holiness Puja Sri Jayendra Saraswati Swamigal and Shankar Vijayendra Saraswati Swamigal, we are looking at a combination education, taking the best of both the worlds. There is no need to discard any system of education. Let's take the best elements of each one of them. And that is why in this Vidya Mandir, we will have a CBSE education system which is for the entire 1,000 students in the first phase in which we are taking them. All of them will go through CBSE education system. Of these 1,000, 600 students will also go through the Vedic education system and or the Nama Sankirtan. So 600 students This will be the largest ever Pathashala ever to have been conceived on the earth.